kind of heartsick from the outcome of this, and I've been living with it for a few days now as some of my other colleagues in the deep submergence community. I was out on a ship myself when the event happened on Sunday.
He's the visionary director behind some of the biggest blockbusters in history, a man who pushes the boundaries of filmmaking and transports us to worlds beyond imagination. But now, James Cameron is making headlines about the OceanGate sub-disaster, a bombshell announcement that has sent shockwaves through Hollywood. James Cameron just broke his silence and shocked everyone. Stay tuned to find out what he revealed. A tragedy that shook the world. The OceanGate Titan disaster was an event that captivated and horrified the world, sparking global headlines and intense media coverage. On a mission to explore the Titanic wreck site, the submersible tragically imploded, slaying all 5 passengers on board, including OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush. James Cameron, an authority on deep-sea exploration and the Titanic wreck, reflected on the event, calling it a tragedy for both the victims and their families. However, he emphasized the importance of viewing the incident in its proper historical context, recognizing it as an anomaly in the otherwise flawless history of submersible safety. Cameron, who has spent decades exploring the deep ocean and building his own submersibles, expressed frustration at the mishandling of safety protocols by OceanGate. Unlike the rigorous standards followed by the submersible community for over half a century, OceanGate ignored critical engineering rules, leading to the disaster. Cameron noted that deep-sea exploration, though often portrayed as dangerous and exotic, is inherently safe when conducted under proper guidelines. This incident, he stressed, was not reflective of the industry, but rather the result of a reckless deviation from established norms. The tragedy also highlighted failures in communication and crisis management. Cameron branded Coast Guard recovery efforts as torturous for the victims' families. According to Cameron, almost all experts, himself included, figured out almost directly that Titan had probably lost a catastrophic implosion. In contrast, the dominant narrative worldwide is one pushed by a false sense of hope, born by sensationalized anecdotes of tapping sounds and race against time, which Cameron thought implausible and misleading. The Titan tragedy ultimately reminds one of the ultimate risk that comes about when safety standards are compromised. Cameron reflected on the similarity of this incident to the Titanic disaster itself, that hubris and overconfidence led to an unnecessary loss of life. The global obsession with the event also serves as a testament to the fact that humankind will never cease in its quest to learn more about the Titanic wreck and the deep ocean's secrets. It is also a stark reminder of the dangers of shortcutting innovation and adventure, which will leave indelible marks on the exploration community as well as public consciousness. This OceanGate tragedy is shocking, but the next revelation will leave you speechless. Shocking design failures. The OceanGate Titan submersible was plagued by critical design flaws that directly led to its catastrophic failure. James Cameron, an expert in submersible engineering, outlined these deficiencies, focusing on the use of carbon fiber for the hull, which he deemed entirely inappropriate for deep-sea pressure applications. Unlike isotropic materials such as titanium or steel, which have consistent molecular structures, carbon fiber is anisotropic and prone to cyclic fatigue. This means that the material weakens with repeated use, making it a ticking time bomb under the immense pressures of the ocean depths. Cameron emphasized that these risks were well known within the submersible community, yet OceanGate proceeded despite the warnings. Another significant flaw was the combination of carbon fiber with titanium end caps, creating a mismatch of materials with differing rates of expansion and contraction under pressure. This incompatibility, known as differential bulk modulus, introduces stress at the joints, making the vessel structurally vulnerable. Cameron compared this to attempting to glue together materials that pull apart under force, leading to inevitable failure. He also noted that the submersible lacked the proper classification and certification from recognized agencies, a critical step in ensuring the safety and viability of such vessels. Cameron brought to the public a revelation regarding OceanGate, having decided to cut corners as far as engineering construction was concerned, while trying to be quicker and save money just as reducing other costs. This included neglecting established safety protocols and not enough tests to ascertain the submersible's strength over multiple dives. Moreover, the Titan carried with it an acoustic monitoring system meant for detecting cracks in the hull, an indicator that, according to Cameron, would raise a red flag because it implied that the design was already nearing the brink of failure. Any presence of such a system indicated that the designers expected that kind of structural trouble, yet continued processing for their intended goals. The outcome of these design failures is predictably tragic. Cameron revealed that after only 2 to 3 dives, the Titan was doomed to implode under the titanic forces that press at such depth. The sinking of the submersible would thus not only incur the lives of its ill-fated passengers, but would also serve as a living testament to the price of taking shortcuts in high-stakes engineering. Cameron's interpretation is about a cold reminder of the need to abide by hallowed design principles and put the importance of safety above that in extreme environments. OceanGate's reckless approach. The OceanGate Titan tragedy revealed a pattern of recklessness in decision-making and engineering that ultimately led to disaster. Stockton Rush, the CEO of OceanGate, pursued an unconventional approach to building the Titan submersible, ignoring established industry standards. James Cameron criticized Rush for breaking critical engineering rules and failing to prioritize safety. Unlike traditional submersibles, the Titan was constructed using carbon fiber, a material deemed unsuitable for handling the immense pressures at deep-sea depths. Cameron and other experts had long warned that this material choice, combined with design flaws such as mismatched materials, would lead to catastrophic failure. Rush's disregard for safety extended beyond material choices to a fundamental rejection of industry norms. He bypassed classification and certification processes, which are mandatory for most deep-sea vessels carrying passengers. Cameron highlighted how OceanGate exploited a legal loophole by labeling paying passengers as mission specialists, avoiding regulatory oversight. This reckless behavior reflected a dangerous mix of hubris and a desire to innovate without understanding the unique challenges of deep-sea engineering. Cameron likened Rush's mindset to the Titanic captain's overconfidence, both ignoring warnings in pursuit of their goals. Within the industry, warnings were many and explicit. Cameron brought in reference to a letter issued in 2018 in which engineers noted the interrogation of certain OceanGate approaches. The submersible community has also experienced the same kind of failure by carbon fiber materials for other purposes, which confirms the dangers of such materials when applied in deep-sea concepts as per the specification. Despite these overt signs, Rush continued, blindfolded by his own belief in his strange ways and rejection of the whole wisdom of the submersible industry. Badly cost by this reckless method was the life of OceanGate and the reputation of an otherwise pretty safe and innovative field. Cameron emphasized the tragedy packed with this hubris, which not only endangers passengers but casts a shadow on the whole deep-sea exploration community. The Titan disaster is a stark reminder of the disaster created by putting ambition above safety and the case for engineering principles in high-risk environments. The hubris of Stockton Rush. Stockton Rush's ambition and overconfidence were central to the OceanGate Titan tragedy. James Cameron described Rush as someone enamored with the allure of innovation and the mystique of the Titanic wreck, but whose approach was marked by a dangerous disregard for established safety protocols. Rush's engineering decisions, such as using carbon fiber for the submersible's hull and combining it with titanium end caps, ignored the warnings of experts who deemed these materials unsuitable for deep-sea pressures. Cameron likened Rush's hubris to that of the Titanic's captain, whose overconfidence in the ship's invincibility led to a preventable disaster. Rush prided himself on breaking the rules, believing that his unorthodox methods were a form of innovation. Cameron pointed out that while challenging conventions can be valuable, it requires a deep understanding of the risks and limits involved. Rush's background in aeronautics, which focuses on lightweight materials and different engineering challenges, left him ill-equipped to design a vessel capable of withstanding the crushing pressures of the deep ocean. His unwillingness to heed advice from the submersible community further highlighted a reckless disregard for safety. Not without warnings. Cameron exposed that the industry people have always raised concerns over Rush's approach, but these warnings were ignored. Rush thought himself a pioneer who cared less for the very cautious conventional wisdom. Cameron noted that this mindset also created a false sense of security in early successful dives, masking true flaws in Titan's design. In the end, this overconfidence proved disastrous, as the material choices coupled with design flaws could hold up only a limited number of dives, past which failure would be inevitable. The irony of Rush's hubris lies in the lives it claimed and the scars it marked upon the reputation of deep-sea exploration. The echoes of Rush and Titanic disaster become obvious, as both relate to an over-believing past success guarantees future safety. Rush pushes for innovation at the cost of proven safety as a strong reminder of what overconfidence can spell under conditions of high stakes, where the cost of failure is measured in lives. 50 years of deep-sea exploration excellence. For over half a century, the deep-sea exploration community has maintained an impeccable safety record, thanks to rigorous standards and protocols. James Cameron, a pioneer in submersible technology and deep ocean research, highlighted this exceptional track record during his interview. Cameron has personally built and operated submersibles, collaborated with leading experts, and developed engineering projects that pushed the boundaries of exploration. He emphasized that the industry's focus on meticulous design, certification, and safety has made deep-sea diving remarkably safe, despite the extreme environments it navigates. Cameron contrasted the OceanGate tragedy with the rest of the deep-sea community, where safety is paramount. Institutions like Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution and companies like Triton Submarines have demonstrated how safety and innovation can coexist. These organizations invest heavily in materials, testing, and compliance with classification agencies to ensure their vehicles meet stringent safety standards. Cameron noted that this diligence has allowed countless dives to be conducted without incident, making the Titan disaster a stark deviation from the norm. This tragedy makes it very clear that the safety measures established have to be followed. Just like Cameron, be critical towards OceanGate maybe, for breaking some of those very fundamental rules like not using very much appropriate materials and not having industry certifications. Such steps only show a disregard for the collaborative safety culture over which deep-sea exploration has built for itself across decades. OceanGate does that at the cost of lives and against all the trust built up by the investment of years and years of development in the industry. Nonetheless, Cameron shows some glimmers of hope for the future of deep-sea exploration. While he calls the Titan accident horrible, he believes that it is an outlier and not representative of the industry as a whole. Thus, while the field continues to evolve, Cameron believes that it will always be possible to use these tried-and-true methods so that humanity may safely plunge its tentacles into waters previously untraveled. Robust protocols set out by institutions and reputable companies are still ensuring safety and success in the depths of the ocean. Stay strapped in, because the next OceanGate twist is even deeper. The media circus and miscommunication. The aftermath of the OceanGate Titan disaster was marked by a media frenzy that, according to James Cameron, misled the public and unnecessarily prolonged the anguish of the victims' families. As soon as news of the submersible's disappearance broke, a narrative emerged of a desperate race against time, with stories of dwindling oxygen and possible rescue scenarios dominating headlines. Cameron criticized this portrayal, explaining that experts in the submersible community, including himself, knew almost immediately that a catastrophic implosion had occurred. The simultaneous loss of communication and tracking systems indicated a sudden, catastrophic event, leaving no real hope for survival. Cameron was particularly critical of the Coast Guard's handling of the search and the misleading media reports it allowed to persist. Despite knowing the sub's last known position near the Titanic wreck site, search efforts spanned vast areas of the ocean's surface, creating a spectacle that Cameron called torturous for the families. He expressed frustration at the use of tapping sounds as evidence of potential survival, calling it implausible given the conditions and noise levels at sea. According to Cameron, this narrative was not only unsubstantiated, but also gave false hope, fueling a media circus that distracted from the harsh reality. The extended search efforts also revealed procedural inefficiencies, with Cameron pointing out how unprepared the Coast Guard was in the event of such an incident. Submersible tragedies are rare, and the Titan disaster was indeed the first of its kind, which heightened the complexity of the situation, leading to much dependence on standard search protocols meant for surface vessels. Cameron suggested that unwillingness on the part of the Coast Guard to acknowledge immediately that they were dealing probably with an implosion was not a desire by them for a deliberate deception, as much as procedural rigidity and a desire to avoid public scorn. The media contributed to the sensationalism that worsened the tragedy, while authorities had not communicated clearly. According to Cameron, transparency and honesty from the get-go would have spared families false hope and allowed for a higher quality of focus in responses and respect. Miscommunication has not only spoiled the response to the disaster, but has also brought forward the requirement for public narratives to be truthful and aligned with expert insights during crises. This disconnect also serves as a lesson for the future in how to prepare for effective communication in moments of tragedy. A tribute to Paul-Henri Nargeolet. Among the victims of the OceanGate Titan disaster was Paul-Henri Nargeolet, affectionately known as PH in the exploration community. A seasoned expert and passionate explorer, PH had dedicated his life to uncovering the mysteries of the deep ocean, particularly the Titanic wreck. James Cameron, who shared a close friendship with Nargeolet, remembered him as a true pioneer and kindred spirit. The two had bonded over their mutual love for the ocean and their countless dives to the Titanic wreck site, with PH holding the record for the most dives, an impressive 37. Cameron described PH as someone who thrived on pushing boundaries, shining a light into history, and exploring the unknown. Despite his extensive experience, Nargeolet's decision to join the Titan dive was puzzling to many, including Cameron. PH was not an engineer by trade, but an explorer at heart, relying on others to ensure the safety and functionality of the equipment he used. Cameron reflected on how PH's adventurous spirit and trust in others may have led him to participate in the ill-fated expedition. However, he emphasized that PH had always operated certified and safe submersibles throughout his career, making his presence aboard the uncertified Titan an anomaly that carried tragic consequences. Cameron's tribute to PH was strikingly different, in that it went beyond his professional achievements to cover his personal attributes as well. PH was a born leader whose footprint in the Titanic recovery missions was the jaw-dropping effort to retrieve a massive portion of the ship's hull. Beyond technical achievements, his contribution to deep-sea explorations is of unwavering curiosity and determination to document history for the generations to come. Cameron recounted their friendly rivalry over the number of dives on the Titanic, reflecting a playful competition by which PH's enduring passion for exploration was shown. PH Nargeolet has left a deep void in exploration and in the hearts of many who knew him. Cameron's thoughts emphasize the loss of this wonderful individual due to a non-accidental disaster. His adventurous legacy will live on, although this loss is a stark reminder to treasure safety even while pursuing great things. Courage and discovery marked his life, which will inspire explorers around the globe. The aftermath and industry implications. The OceanGate Titan disaster sent shockwaves through the deep-sea exploration community, raising urgent questions about safety, regulations, and the future of the industry. James Cameron described the tragedy as a wake-up call, highlighting the consequences of ignoring established safety standards. While the event tarnished the reputation of deep-sea exploration in the public eye, Cameron emphasized that it was an outlier and not representative of the broader industry, which has maintained an impeccable safety record for over 50 years. Nevertheless, The incident has sparked calls for stricter oversight and adherence to certification protocols to prevent similar disasters. One of the most significant impacts of the Titan tragedy has been a chilling effect on public confidence in submersible exploration. Cameron noted that despite this setback, reputable institutions and companies continue to operate safely, thanks to rigorous classification processes and proven engineering methods. Organizations like Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution and Triton Submarines remain committed to their missions, ensuring that exploration and scientific research can proceed without compromising safety. Cameron stressed that safety is relatively simple when proper rules are followed, and submersibles adhering to industry standards remain one of the safest ways to explore extreme environments. Cameron criticized the idea of rephrasing passengers to mission specialists as a means of circumventing regulations. He called for reforms that would close such loopholes and expressed hope that the tragedy would mean stricter enforcement of certification requirements and greater accountability in the industry. Cameron also talked about how history has marked the congregation of individuals with regard to their programs in relation to exploring for safety purposes. In spite of the tragedy that has struck, Cameron still thinks a bright future may lie ahead for deep-sea exploration. The human urge to explore will continue, he believes, never dying but always fueled by curiosity and the promise of scientific knowledge. The Titan tragedy has, in his mind, become a ghastly lesson in cutting corners and what happens when proven principles are jettisoned. The industry may further its mission to unravel mysteries unfurling in the deep, while commemorating through these tragedies those who died in pursuit of this endeavor with a renewed focus on safety and collaboration. Lessons from Titanic and Titan. The OceanGate. Titan disaster draws haunting parallels to the Titanic tragedy over a century ago, highlighting the perils of hubris and ignoring critical warnings. James Cameron, deeply familiar with both events, pointed out that Stockton Rush's overconfidence mirrored that of the Titanic's captain, Edward Smith. In both cases, safety precautions were overlooked in the pursuit of groundbreaking achievements. For the Titanic, it was the failure to heed iceberg warnings. For the Titan, it was the reckless use of carbon fiber and dismissal of industry safety standards. Cameron emphasized that these tragedies serve as stark reminders of the cost of arrogance in the face of nature's immense power. Both events also underscore the catastrophic consequences of placing trust in flawed systems. The Titanic was touted as unsinkable, and its captain pushed full speed through ice fields, believing in the ship's invincibility. Similarly, OceanGate promoted the Titan as a cutting-edge vessel, despite repeated warnings from experts about its unsafe design. Cameron highlighted how such misplaced confidence can lead to disaster, especially when safety is compromised for innovation or financial gain. These incidents remind us that even the most advanced technology cannot overcome fundamental flaws when critical guidelines are ignored. He argued that it was then human nature that would operate in these tragedies to generate a psychological state of personal excusability. Stockton Rush considers himself an innovator. His methods are those of moving fast and breaking things. Descriptive of the Silicon Valley approach can become dangerous and unsuitable outside a high-stakes environment like exploration at the bottom of the sea. Similarly, the crew of the Titanic believed that their ship could pass through the North Atlantic without any worry during the iceberg season. The mindsets, Cameron observed, are such that they show how the temptation of adventure and progress blinds the man to the risks in his undertaking. The lessons to be learned from both Titanic and Titan are obvious. Safety must never be sacrificed on the altar of ambition, and warnings of experts must not be ignored. Cameron emphasized that following sound principles and respecting nature's changes will prevent such tragedies. These tales of caution conjure, while the human spirit of exploration is firm, the reminder to err on the side of responsibility and nature's unforgiving strength of what we endeavor to conquer. A turning point for innovation and accountability. The OceanGate Titan disaster stands as a critical turning point for the deep-sea exploration industry, highlighting the delicate balance between innovation and accountability. James Cameron underscored the risks of pursuing groundbreaking advancements without adhering to established safety protocols. Stockton Rush's approach, characterized by his belief in breaking the rules to innovate, exemplified the dangers of prioritizing ambition over caution. Cameron pointed out that while innovation is essential for progress, it must be accompanied by a deep understanding of the environment and the risks involved. The tragedy has now forced the industry to re-evaluate how innovation is pursued in high-stakes engineering. The OceanGate Titan disaster also underscores the historical parallels between deep-sea exploration and the early days of space exploration, where safety and accountability evolved through trial and error. During the Apollo program, for instance, the Apollo 1 fire in 1967 forced NASA to overhaul its safety protocols, leading to significant advancements that prioritized crew safety without stifling innovation. James Cameron's call for stricter standards resonates with this history, illustrating that progress in uncharted territories often requires painful lessons. Drawing from these parallels, the deep-sea exploration industry has an opportunity to develop its own gold standard of safety protocols, much like the aerospace industry, ensuring that risks are minimized even as new frontiers are explored. Another perspective to consider is the role of public perception in shaping the future of high-stakes exploration. The OceanGate Titan tragedy has brought widespread attention to the inherent dangers of extreme exploration, much like the Challenger disaster did for space travel in 1986. Public outcry and media scrutiny following such incidents often act as catalysts for change, pushing industries to prioritize transparency and safety. James Cameron's emphasis on fostering trust aligns with this dynamic, as public confidence is crucial for securing funding, partnerships, and participation in future ventures. By adopting rigorous standards and openly addressing past failures, the deep-sea exploration community can rebuild its reputation, much like NASA did in the years following its own setbacks, ultimately inspiring renewed public support for exploration efforts. One of the key lessons from the disaster is the importance of regulatory oversight and certification in maintaining public trust. Cameron emphasized that the lack of classification and safety certification for the Titan submersible was a major red flag ignored by OceanGate. By bypassing these essential processes, the company not only jeopardized the lives of its passengers, but also cast doubt on the entire industry. The incident has led to calls for stricter enforcement of certification protocols, ensuring that no future ventures can operate with the same disregard for safety and accountability. The tragedy has also sparked a broader conversation about the ethical responsibilities of innovators in extreme environments. Cameron highlighted how Rush's mindset, influenced by a move fast and break things ethos, was more suited to tech startups than life-critical engineering. This approach, which worked successfully in the tech world, proved disastrous in deep-sea exploration, where the stakes are far higher. The OceanGate disaster serves as a reminder that innovation without accountability can have devastating consequences, particularly when lives are on the line. As the industry moves forward, the OceanGate tragedy is likely to reshape how future exploration projects are approached. Cameron expressed hope that this incident would lead to more collaboration, transparency, and adherence to proven safety standards. The lessons learned from this disaster are not just about preventing another Titan-like event, but about fostering a culture of innovation rooted in accountability and respect for the extreme environments being explored. With these lessons in mind, the deep-sea exploration community can continue to push boundaries while ensuring the safety and trust of those involved. The most astonishing OceanGate twist is on its way. Prepare to be blown away. The future of ocean exploration. Despite the OceanGate Titan tragedy, James Cameron remains optimistic about the future of ocean exploration, emphasizing its critical importance to science and human curiosity. The deep-sea exploration community has been resilient, with institutions and companies continuing their missions to uncover the mysteries of the ocean. Cameron stressed that while the Titan disaster was a devastating setback, it should be seen as an outlier rather than a reflection of the industry as a whole. The focus now is on reaffirming the safety standards that have enabled decades of successful and groundbreaking exploration. The tragedy has, however, prompted a renewed focus on safety and regulation. Cameron believes that strengthening oversight and certification processes is key to ensuring the industry's credibility and future success. Companies like Triton Submarines, where Cameron is a participant, exemplify the commitment to rigorous safety protocols and innovative designs that prioritize passenger and crew safety. Plans are already underway to develop advanced submersibles capable of reaching even greater depths, such as the proposed 4,000-meter submersible Cameron referenced. These advancements promise to unlock new opportunities for scientific discovery and tourism, while maintaining the highest standards of safety. The history of ocean exploration reveals a legacy of perseverance in the face of danger, echoing Cameron's belief in resilience and progress. From the HMS Challenger expedition in the 1870s, which laid the groundwork for modern oceanography, to the groundbreaking dives of the Trieste in 1960, humanity has consistently pushed the limits of technology and endurance to explore the unknown. These efforts, though fraught with risks, have yielded transformative discoveries, such as hydrothermal vents and the biodiversity of the deep sea. Such milestones highlight the potential rewards that await those who dare to explore further, underscoring the importance of Cameron's advocacy for continued innovation and exploration. In addition, Cameron's optimism is strengthened by growing investments in ocean research and exploration technologies. Both governments and private entities are dedicating investments to initiatives such as the Seabed 2030 project, which aims to map the entire ocean floor by the end of this decade. It is using advanced means such as autonomous underwater vehicles, AUVs, and remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, to explore hazardous areas, like the Mariana Trench, without losing human operators. Advanced submersible designs, which Cameron also mentioned, can take safety into account, as well as broaden access to previously inaccessible areas. The argument that ocean exploration is more than just a science, but a testament to the indomitable curiosity of humanity and their determination, is made stronger through this clutch of historical progress and future potential. Cameron also pointed out the large amounts of unexplored ocean territory as an impetus for further exploration. Deep trenches in the ocean that collectively exceed the landmass of Australia remain largely uncharted, and captivity harbors incredible new prospects for biology, geology, and history. Each dive into these virtually unexplored zones might be stingy in discovering the momentous and unforeseen life forms and phenomena, triggering their human spirit of curiosity and exploration. True to Cameron, tragedies like Titan cannot deter humans from undertaking these endeavors, but reminders of precaution and esteem for these extraordinary environments should be taken into consideration. For Cameron, ocean exploration, above all human concerns, is a permanent and necessary task. Assured that the blunder of just one corporation should not inhibit the achievements and progress made by the larger company. While safety continues being the route toward exploration, ocean depths will always unfold their secrets to humanity, inspiring generations to come. Cameron is confident, with lessons learned and with the advent of new innovations, that the future will be brighter and safer than ever in ocean exploration. Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment to share your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel for more incredible content like this. And hey, don't go anywhere. Click on the video on your screen now to dive into another fascinating story. See you in the next one.